はい、皆さんこんにちは。ナスペックのね、YouTube チャンネルへようこそ。今日はですね、岐阜にあるナスペックさんのね、視聴室に来てます。もうね、素敵なゲストをお招きしてます。2000年にイギリスで設立された、パワーコンディショナー、日本でいうとクリーン電源のメーカーであるIsoTekのですね、設立者である現ファウンダーのですね、キース・マーティンさんにお越しいただきました。ナイスキー。
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
はい。Thank you. 実はですね、もうちょっと撮影に先駆けてネクタイをキースさんに直してもらって、今日ちょっと僕かっこいいんじゃないですか。だから、はい。でですね、はい。
Windsor knot from England.
ウィンザーノットにしてもらいました。ちょっとイギリスのかな。嬉しいですね。はい。それはともかくですね、今日の動画なんですけど、これ本当にね、有名なもう今、日本で大変人気のあるパワーコンディショナーだと思うんですけど、通常のですね、動画だと、これ、会社のこととか製品のことをね、根掘り葉掘り聞くのもいいんですけど、それだけだとね、やっぱり面白くないと思います。ですのでですね、今回はキースさんに、世界のですね、電源事情を聞いてしまおうというですね、そういう、イントロはそこです。で、後半になりましたらですね、じゃあ電源事情に対して、IsoTekの製品がどのようなね、対策、どのような要するにことをやってるのか、どのような効能があるのかっていうのもね、聞いてみていただきたいと思います。じゃあ改めてキースさんよろしくお願いします。じゃあですね、本当改めましてキースさんにお聞きしたいんですけど、パワーコンディショナーって、様々な国でIsoTekの製品は使われていると思いますが、国によって電源事情とかオーディオファイルが電源の何に注目しているのかって若干僕は違うと思ってるんですね。例えば日本だと、これは本当に一番基本的な電源対策としては、極性を合わせるフェーズ、プラスとマイナスをまず基本的には合わせる。そして、電源タップがあったり、電源のケーブルがあったり、そのあたりがまず基本だと思うんですね。で、その先ですね、例えばアイソレーショントランス使って絶縁する方、いわゆるノイズ対策として絶縁する方もいらっしゃるし、電源タップに挿すタイプのアクセサリーなんかも、ここ数年流行ってます。で、究極になってしまうと、いわゆるマイ電柱ですよ。これ、海外でもマイ電柱やってるのがね、いわゆる変圧器、自分専用のね、変圧器のトランスを接通っていうテクニックを使うこともありますし、それとですね、最近ここ2年ぐらいは仮想アースが流行っていると思います。で、これが今日本の電源事情です。じゃあですね、まず最初の質問をしたいと思います。これは僕も個人的に気になったんですけど、IsoTekの製品って世界各国ですごい使われてると思うんですね。だから多分、キースさんは世界各国の電源事情なんかもお詳しいと思うので、そのあたり聞いてみたいと思うんですけど、クエスチョン1としては、アメリカの、やっぱりね、オーディオ製品いっぱいある、アメリカのオーディオファイル結構多いと思うんですけど、アメリカの電源事情っていうのをね、教えてもらいたいです。で、アメリカの方はどのような電源対策をして、この2000年に IsoTek が、設立されて、その後参入したときに、アメリカではどのように受け入れられたんでしょうか。
The amount of audiophiles who are interested in power around the world is the question, basically. I mean, power cleaning devices, power conditioners have been around for quite a long time in America. But in Europe and certainly in Asia, not so much. When we started in 2000, the year 2000, to develop a system, certainly in the UK, it wasn't really widely spread. And there weren't companies really distributing throughout the world. You know, you would find a brand, say, in America, but you wouldn't find that brand in Asia. You might find a brand in the UK, small, just catering for a small market, but you wouldn't find that brand outside that country. And we had, to begin with, a three-stage plan. One was to produce the best power cleaning system on the market that we could. The second was to be considered against existing brands on the market. So our brand was known and it would be considered as a as a second or third or fourth best. And then eventually we wanted to be the brand which every other power cleaning product on the market would be compared to, meaning that we had become market leaders, and we wanted to be visionaries. We wanted to be developing systems that stretch beyond what was currently available, to be a leader that others would try to copy and follow. And almost 25 years later, we're seeing that we have grown the market, and now there is a lot of copy products trying to offer what we give.
Oh, copy?
Yeah. So coming back to your question, most audiophiles, I mean, some markets are a little bit more, how can I say, advanced than others. But when we go to exhibitions, when we go to do dealer trainings, when we do distributor trainings, we find that people who didn't really think that power was important come to realize how important it actually is. But it's always the last thing that people go to when they assemble an audio system, when perhaps it should be their first, because nothing will work without power. And the quality of the power that a piece of an electronics is fed will affect the performance. I think every country should be interested in the power line. I don't think there's any country in the world which doesn't have a power-related problem. And specialist audio equipment needs good power for optimal performance. And the other point I'll make is, yes, a lot of people are jumping and trying to emulate, trying to offer a power solution, but they don't have experience. And experience is an interesting word, because you can't learn experience. You can't go on a 3 or 6 month training course to learn 25 years of experience. We are a specialist in what we do. We're not that. We are 25 years of dedication, R&D, specifically to clean the power line in the best possible way for audio and audio-visual replay. There are many brands. There were probably Noel Lee of Monster Cable was a pioneering force in the American market for power cleaning systems. Was a brand in America called Running Springs at one time, and they used isolating transformers to clean the power line. We actually started exploring isolation transformers with our first products. And we tried extremely hard to get the best sound out of an isolating transformer. And we used special EI cores in order to minimize the insertion loss within the audio band. But that doesn't really work that well. And people put a toroidal isolating transformer as a power cleaning system, and that's not a good solution at all. It darkens the sound, and you lose leading edge attack and dynamics. So in 2003, we started phasing out the use of isolating transformers within our products, and that was at the development of Generation 2. So we stopped using isolation transformers. But there were systems in America. But also the trouble with those systems were they don't readily convert to 230 volts and 50 hertz, because America is 110, 115 volts and 60 hertz. So there was compatibility problems with being used in Europe. The customers in Europe thought they lowered the noise floor, but they deadened the sound and didn't maintain leading edge dynamic. So we had an advantage because we were designed already for the higher voltage.
Oh.
And you can actually take one of our products here, and you can take it, and it can be used in both Europe and America or without any problems at all. And that, of course, is a big advantage for the Japanese audiophile, which has regions of your country with different voltages to others. So if you were to move, for example, you wouldn't have to recalibrate your IsoTek. You can take it with you. So it's,
Thank you.
he can take it anywhere in the world and it will work. But he can't take it to the moon because there's no power on the moon.
はい、じゃあということでクエスチョン2です。アメリカとね、やっぱり今アメリカのお話していただいたと思うんですけど、これはね、キーさんもイギリスのメーカーですから、ヨーロッパ、いわゆるアメリカとヨーロッパでは、オーディオファイルがね、電源の高品位化に求める要素ってね、なんか違いがあったり特色があるんでしょうか？それとも同じことをみんな求めてるんでしょうか？
I think the answer, the simple answer is no, not really. The problem on the power line that is existing in America is the same as existing in Japan, as is existing in Europe in general. And that is created by common mode and differential mode noise. Differential mode noise is created when products with a power supply draw power from the mains. They corrupt the main sinus wave. And this is called differential mode noise. And even a refrigerator or a microwave oven, a computer, in fact, with a switching power supply will create more differential mode noise. But also your audio equipment creates differential mode noise. So this is why it's important to deal with that particular problem. And then we come to common mode noise, which used to be called RFI, radio frequency interference, but we walk around with these things in our pockets. And I mean, you open it, you can get so much information on one of these things. It doesn't get there by magic. We are bathed in a sea of common mode noise. So we've covered like America and Europe, but in Norway, for example, and this is also very interesting, in Norway they have a bigger problem existing, and this was actually written about in the local newspapers. So it wasn't an audio magazine that covered it, it was actually a newspaper publication to everyone in Norway. And this is a problem created by electric car fast charging power stations. Now in Norway, the government are committed to moving all vehicles to electric cars, I think before 2030. So there's a lot of electric cars in Norway. The fast charging stations cause big disruption to the main sinus wave. And so, I suspect as this technology comes into Europe more so, and America more so, then that will also be a problem that they will also encounter.
ということは、チャージングステーションがこれからたくさん立つと、日本のオーディオの電源関係は悪くなるんですか？
It affects the audio environment, yes, but it also affects the whole of the grid in Norway. It's kind of a problem there. And, there's a shift to electric vehicles. I'm not personally completely convinced by that move, but I suspect we'll see many more electric vehicles being used in the world than in the future, not less. And also solar panels create a similar problem, and we're going to see more of those because the motivation is to try to create cleaner and cleaner electricity. But funny enough, the products that create clean electricity actually create noise on the power line. So it's a bit of a funny situation.
いわゆる本当悪くなるという、今のでもですね、 これはすごい新しい発見で、確かにケイスさんがおっしゃられている通り、これから増えますからね。そうなってくるとね、まあ一つは僕は街中の街灯が LED 化されたのは僕はすごいマイナスがあると思うんですけど、そこをどう思われますかね。
It's a very good point you make, and a very good observation. And again, it all comes down to saving power. We are encouraged to use less power because the grid is overstretched, and we're only adding to it. We can't suddenly rip out all of the power and put it back to service the needs in the population. We have to work with what we've got. So we want to conserve power. LEDs lighting is used, and the problem is in the switching power supplies. Now, a regular power supply lets go of the mains close to the 0 volts line. Yeah, so you have your 0 volts line. It lets go of the power supply quite close to the 0 volts line. So noise is created, but not so big a noise. A switching power supply samples the main sinus wave. So it's picking it up and letting it go continually all of the time. And that process actually introduces common mode noise when it does that, as well as differential mode noise. So it's twice as bad. And as I said, you know, the problem is going to get worse because we're using more switching power supplies, we're using more electrical products, and therefore I think our proposition is critical to a very good sounding, protected, high-end audio system. You've got to do the job correctly, and you've got to buy a power cleaning system that doesn't kill the dynamics or soften your enjoyment of the electronics that you've invested in, you've bought. And that's why we think we do a very good job, because we're a specialist in what we do, with decades, tens of years of experience, and a multi-award-winning international background for clean power solutions internationally.
でですね、今やっぱり LED 化の問題っていうのはね、僕はこれ実は結構大きい問題だっていうのを自分の実際に家の環境で感じてて、で僕は夜音楽を聴くのがすごい好きだったんですよね。深夜に音楽を聴く。いわゆるそうすると家族も含めた電気の使用量が減るので、夜は日本の夜っていうのはすごい音がいいと言われてたんですね。で、ずっと真夜中に聞いて静寂感 SN がやっぱりいいことが出たんですけど、ある日突然ね、夜になっても音が変わらなくなっちゃったんですよ。それでおかしいな、何かやったかなと思って家の外に出てみたら、家の周りの街灯が全部 LED 化されてたと。僕はこれでその LED の問題はすごい大きな問題なんじゃないかなと感じたんですけど、実はですね、その後IsoTekの製品を別件でちょっとお借りして家で試したじゃないですか。その時にこの街灯がなんとですね、街灯が LED 化する前の静寂感が戻ってきたんですね。はい、これすっごくて、でだから多分御社の製品はこの LED 化、まあこれは自宅も含めて、実はごめんなさい、これでちょっとエコの観点からは反するので、ちょっとなかなか口を大きくしたら言えないんだけど、うちはほとんど LED にしてないんですよ、自宅の電源。そのまま白熱そのままにしてるんですけど、まあこれはね、ちょっとエコとは今の現代のね、時流の流れからはちょっと反対のことを言ってしまってて申し訳ないんですけど、まあ簡単にそれで結論から言えばですね、まあキーさんに聞きたいのは、このIsoTekの製品は、いわゆるこの LED による、家の中の LED、もしくは街灯の LED によるノイズ、もしくはですね、先ほど言ってた今後出てくるであろう、その充電のステーションの増加に対して、音質を担保することができるんでしょうか。
I mean, it's very kind of you to say that. Thank you very much. Yes, we do try extremely hard to design the best products we can, best possible products for audio and audio-visual replay, and not being arrogant or anything like that, but it doesn't really surprise me because we have to get rid of this differential mode noise. And yes, our products can address the negativity of the LED lights, which you mentioned earlier. No problem there at all. But also, you know, you can go into a hardware shop and buy these replacement LED lights which have power supplies in, and you'll be putting those directly in your home, not on the street outside, but directly into your home. And yes, if you do that, we can solve that problem for you as well. And we also remove the pollution created by the fast charging power stations, fast charging electric car stations I mentioned earlier. So I think the need for a high quality power cleaning system within an audio replay environment is greater now than ever. And it was always very important from the beginning. And we always wanted to see ourselves as a component. And we've tried very hard to carve out a category because we think it should be treated as a component in the same way that you consider a loudspeaker to be a component and an amplifier to be a component. We believe the IsoTek power cleaning system should also be the component for your audio system as well.
今のはさっきのはね、僕のやつ、僕の経験に対する質問ですけど、僕が一番やっぱね、話したかったのは、こちらですね。今回ね、本当に IsoTek さん、今何カ国にやってるんですか？
It's around 50, I think. It's around 50, 50,
50?
yeah.
Great. じゃあなぜですね、御社のパワーサプライ、これだけ世界的に人気が出たのでしょうか
？Because they work. Because we've spent 20, almost 25 years working tirelessly to create the best power cleaning systems worldwide. And again, I mentioned earlier that we're specialists in what we do. I give you a funny analogy. If I was having a heart attack, I hope I don't, but if I was having a heart attack, right, you wouldn't call my dentist. Because my dentist can fix my teeth. Because he's a specialist at dental work, right? And a heart surgeon is a specialist at heart surgery. So it stands to reason, if you want a very good audiophile power cleaning system, you go to a specialist. And IsoTek is a specialist in that regard. And I think another reason why our products have become popular worldwide is because I haven't seen another power cleaning brand or whatever actually go internationally around the world, stand in front of people and do A/B comparisons starting with regular power from the wall and then up through the IsoTek range so audiophiles can hear and experience. Because it's not enough just to do a good job technically or to have nice marketing buzzwords. We have to, the product actually has to deliver on the product promise. And that promise is better sound, not different sound, not can you hear the difference, can you hear the improvement? And that's what you will have with an IsoTek product. You'll have an improvement. And the other thing to keep in mind is we don't shift the sound tonally one way or the other way. We maintain the integrity of the audio components that you own. We don't change the sound. We just open up the sound. We give you more front to back depth. We give you higher frequencies. We give you greater microdynamic information and air and space within your audio system and greater system imaging. So you get more of what you invested in. And that, I think, is why we've become very popular, because people don't want to change their audio systems necessarily, certainly not in tough economic times. They want to improve what they already have. And this product will improve everything you own, and protect it, and give it longevity too.
確かにですね、キーさんおっしゃられる通り、IsoTekの製品のですね、素晴らしいところっていうのは、ソースに対してですね、とにかく本当に音変えないんですよ。 で、この部分に関してはやっぱり以前から言われてた、この同様のですね、このパワーコンディショナーとか、これはフィルター類もそうなんですけど、そういうものってやっぱりね、音が、ちょっと音色が変わってしまったり、その SL 感は高まるんだけど、音色がちょっと変わってしまう。これがストレートなのかどうなのかって、僕もちょっと判断しづらくなってくるんですね。で、それともう一つ大きいのはやっぱり音の低音域が痩せてしまう製品っていうのも少なからずあった。これに関しては難しくてですね、いわゆる負体音がなくなったからって痩せてしまったっていう判断をしてはいけないんですけど、どちらにせよですね、その、低域が痩せない、低域の力感が損なわれないというところは、このアイソテック製品の僕はね、日本で売れた大きな理由だとは思います。はい。それではですね、もう電源事情いろいろ、初めてね、聞く情報も多くて僕結構嬉しかったんですけど、いよいよですね、このアイソテックのですね、今、基幹となる一番人気商品のですね、パワーサプライですが、はい、V5 シリーズですね。はい、今3タイプ日本だと、はい、出ています。実は本国ではもう数種類出ているそうなんですけど、このですね、3モデルについて、もうそろそろね、キースさんにもういっぱい、PR してもらいましょう。
With the version 5 products, the V5 as we referred to them as, we work very hard to reduce the direct current resistance. So that means we can get current through the product a lot quicker. We have increased the quality of the components that we use within the product. These are actually designed by a very specialist country. Well, they're designed by us and then produced by a very specialist producer in England. So that's produced to our specification, very high tolerances. So you can't just go and buy them from off the shelf from another like radio spares or RS components or whatever. A big supplier of electrical components. They won't have them because they're designed specifically for us. The PCBs have at least 4 times the copper loading compared to our competitors. So we basically have far more amperage within the PCB capability than is needed. So we're over-engineering. I would consider that to be like a road. If you have a single road and suddenly you have a lot of cars, you have a traffic jam. If you have a 6-lane highway and you have a lot of cars, you don't have a problem. So by making sure that we've got more than we need, we never have too little. The internal wiring, we have a dielectric which is virtually air. And an air dielectric is one of the best dielectrics you can have. And the internal wiring within these components has a special Ono continuous cast copper, solid core, silver-plated cable with a dielectric virtually of air. So everything within the design has been optimized for performance and to give you the best out of your audio system replay. And funnily enough, the first review that we had in England of the Aquarius, this model here, we insisted that the reviewer be supplied with both the old model and the new model. And he said, but that's very unusual. I said, I know, but I want you to not only compare the new version 5 product to no power cleaning and the version 5 product, but I also want you to compare it to its predecessor, because I want to prove that we've done such a great job in the version 5 models that you can actually do an A/B between the old version and the new version and be amazed at the performance improvement. And that's not to say the old version wasn't good. It's just we have spent more years, more money doing research and development and understanding more and more. And that comes back to my point about experience and almost 25 years of knowledge and know-how in specialist audio power cleaning technologies. And we also moved the industrial design forwards quite significantly. I mean, we spent a lot of time on the design of the product because we wanted to have a strong visual look to the product, but we also wanted to have very timeless quality to it as well, and so that it could match in with various other looking audio components without having too much characteristic of its own, but be very recognizable. I'm extremely happy and proud of the product. I'm really happy to offer it to the market. And no product is ever released unless I personally want to own it, because I value, I think it's incredibly important that I take these steps, because ultimately, if I'm standing in front of a big crowd of people demonstrating the product, I have to have done the best job that I could have done in the development and the design of the product, you know, because I'm there in front of everyone. I'm going to be the first person that they tell me it's not very good, right? So I want to make sure that it's absolutely amazing, because I want them to feel impressed by what a clean power line for an audio system can achieve sound-wise, sonically.
じゃあということでですね、これ日本のオーディオ媒体だとあまり聞かない質問かもしれないですけど、僕はあえて聞きたい。もうズバリ聞きます。先ほど言った通りですね、前モデルを持ってる人、お客様ね、結構多いと思うんですよ。だけどじゃあそういうね、前のモデルを持っている方が、この新しいですね、V5 シリーズ、3タイプ出てますけど、それに対して買い替える必要があるのかという質問をしたいと思います。ズバリ、sorry.
Yes?
Oh, yes, okay. その言葉が聞きたかった。
And moreover, why don't you go into a dealer and take your old model and try it against one of our new models, and then you can decide for yourself. But I think you'll be impressed with what we've done with the version 5. I'm absolutely convinced you'll be amazed at the improvements we've done. Thank you.
Okay. じゃあということで本当ラストクエスチョンになりますけど、これインターナショナル東京オーディオショー。
I don't know. It's unclear whether I will go personally. I don't know my diary or calendar yet for the end of the year, but if I do, I'll be sure to say hello.
Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you. お会いしたいです。東京インターナショナルオーディオショーで。
Somebody come to Tokyo International Audio Show. He wants to meet.
Yes, absolutely.
ネクタイまた直してくださいって言って。
They won't do it as good as me.
このままほどかないで、このあなたにですね、またネクタイをほどかないで、まずショーに行けますよと。あなたが来てくれるなら。いや、そうです。僕にとってはやっぱりね、本当に素晴らしいプロダクトを作ってくださった方なんでね。はい。これでも英語で伝えるのちょっと、いいですよね、英語で伝えなくてね。はい。ということなので、はい。キーさんね、オーディオショー、日本のね、東京インターナショナルオーディオショーで結構お見かけした方もいらっしゃると思います。結構日本来られてますよね。はい、来ていただいてます。今年はね、ちょっと来るかどうかまだわからないと今ね、お話しされていましたけど、僕としてはぜひ来てもらって、またちょっとネクタイを直してもらおうかと思ってますが、はい、来たらですね、ぜひキーさん来たら、オーディオファイルの人ね、すごいやっぱり電源事情詳しいので、ぜひね、ちょっとコミュニケーションを取っていただきたいと思います。すみません、ちょっとね、今回長くなってしまいましたけど、もう僕ね、聞きたいこといっぱいあったので、結構聞けました。皆さんもね、楽しんでいただけたと思いますし、新しい情報をね、たくさんちょっと教えていただきました。ね、じゃあ、キーさんね、本当に本日はありがとうございました。キーさん、Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and thank you for watching too.
ありがとうございました。